Welcome to the house. In this scene, I'm going to teach you about another way to inject one-shot audio that I've pre-built for you. It's actually slightly more complicated than the previous section, but because I've pre-built some of the functionality, it may end up being easier if you don't know how to do any coding in the first place, because it's really just connecting the dots, drag and dropping, and keeping track of a few different things. Let me show you what I mean. Inside of this scene, I've already built a variety of sounds for you to interact with. We have some spatial audio that's already ongoing, but we have some interactive sounds. Let me show you here. If I head over to the table and I press Z, you see that little pop-up? As I get close, it shows this kind of highlight on that item and it says the letter Z. You can hear my lovely sound effect of drinking. You're welcome. Now if I come over here to this bowl, it highlights and says Z. I made sure I did a great job with these sound effects just to be awesome. I've even included a couple more advanced examples. Here's a simpler one.
Toasting, toast.
In this example, I've shown for the real advanced student who might want to inject some animations.
Open. Slam. Beep, beep, beep.
A microwave.
Open.
A crepe maker, a pancake maker, and even a door.
Creak.
So we have the ability to trigger one-shot audio alongside other things as well. The ability to see interactivity, to press keys to interact with them, and even trigger other responsive layers. I'm not going to teach you about animations in this section, but if it's something you already know how to do, or you're curious to learn, you can definitely build some basic ones and inject the system on top of it. So how does this work exactly? Well, let me show you. Let's head over to one of the sounds that I triggered. How about this cup? This goblet here. This wine cup, I have attached a custom script called the Proximity Color Change script. If you head to the script folder in Unity and ignore the ignore folder and go into the use these folder, you'll see that I actually have a proximity color change script that you can drag and drop onto something to get this type of one-shot audio and other interactions up and running. I've already done so on this wine cup. What does proximity color change require? It needs a sound, it needs an interaction key, and it needs some text to attach to it. So there's three things I have to build. The first thing I have is a sound. Notice it's a one-shot sound. It doesn't have play on awake or loop enabled. This sound was dragged over this slot and applied. Next, I have an interaction key, which I just decide. I chose Z for this, but you're going to type in whatever key you want to trigger that. The reason I allow you to change the key and not just always have it the same one is in case there's things that are really close, if you have the same key, it'll trigger both at the same time. It just allows for some customization. And finally, text is going to be something that appears underneath the object in the hierarchy. So this text, you'll see here, it's the Z text. With wine cup selected, I'm going to click and drag it onto this text slot, and that's going to be what allows this text to appear or disappear. The final thing my proximity color changer needs is a sphere collider that's set to a trigger. This, if you remember, is what surrounds the object, and it's the region like the sensor or the motion sensor in a way, for if I enter it, it causes something to respond. And in this case, it actually turns on the color change and turns on the text. So as my character enters this region, things turn on, and as I exit, they turn off, so that it's responsive as I get close. So we're going to have to also add a sphere collider set with a trigger to these objects as well. To really see how this works, I'm actually going to remove the content from this plate. Let's remove all this content, and we're going to build it together here. So let me delete even that text on the top. Wonderful. So this plate that I had that kind of slurping, eating, whatever sound it was, how am I going to get this set up so that it works in the way that I had it before? Because right now, nothing's going to occur. Let's just really see that's the case by heading back over and trying to experience this. So we had this cup here before. This one still works. You can hear my lovely drinking sound. Very nice. But now if I get close to this, even if I go under the table, it doesn't respond. I've removed that functionality. Just wanted to prove it to you. Okay, so how do we add that back in? First, I'm going to select this plate. And I'm going to make sure that I'm in the folder of scripts to use these. And I'm going to click on the proximity color changer script and drag it over the add component button, or just in the bottom section of the code here. Now I have this script attached that knows a lot of stuff. For those who are coding minded, you might want to take a peek and see what this does. It actually changes the color of the renderer. It allows for some functionality, and it provides the connection points for the different actions of this. But for those who aren't coding minded, you could ignore that and just add the components it's looking for. The first thing I want to do is think about the sound that's attached to this. How do I get it? Well, I have to add the audio source to this object. Once I've added it, I want to make sure that play on awake is deselected and that looping is deselected, and then I want to choose my audio clip. In this case, I think I want the eat audio clip. So I'm going to choose that and make sure that it's on. That's actually all I need for audio source, so I'm going to minimize that and drag it into the audio source slot. Second, I'm going to choose my interaction key. Just for fun, I'm going to make this B just to make it different and to show you that it does function when I make it something different. Finally, I need some text. This text does not exist yet. I have to create it and add it to this object. How do I do so? If I right-click on the plate and go 3D Objects, 3D Text, it's going to, underneath this plate, create a text object that should say Hello World. I'm just going to move it around until it's hovering kind of where I want the information to be shown to the player. And then I'm going to change the text over here, look on the right-hand side where it says Hello World, to the key that I've chosen for this, which was B. So I'm going to change it to B and just maybe center it so it looks a little bit more proper and nice, and I think that looks good to me. Great, now that that exists, I'm going to head back to my plate and drag that text over the text. See how it's blue and it accepts it? Now that new text is connected to this bowl and to the script. Wonderful. So the script is now ready to go. I have my audio, I have my chosen key, and the text that matches with that key all connected. Only one thing left to do, which is I got to create that sensor region, that proximity detector, to allow the interaction to occur. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen. It is called a sphere collider. When I choose that, you'll see that the sphere collider is going to be kind of small and just around that bowl. I need to actually do two things. First, I'm going to make it a trigger so that I actually can trigger a response. And then I'm going to click on Edit and find the little green dots around the edges or the bottom. See those? And if I click and drag those, it expands outwards and downwards this region. And you can make yours as big as you want. I like mine to be kind of like close to the table, but not too far, so it feels kind of naturally responsive. And that seems sufficient for this. I got my collider to enable that detection, and then I have my script with all of its components attached. Let's play test this and make sure that it works. Walking down the hall, I can hear some distant sounds playing off. I can hear the bathroom move to the side, and as I come close to this, oh, I see it's highlighted, and I press B, and it responds. Wonderful. And if I built the script right, if I mash B, it shouldn't play the sound more than once. It should wait till it's done before I can trigger it again. That's the way that it was designed. So with that knowledge, you're able to make things like any of these, where I get close and I have a key showing, I have some responsiveness available to me, I have that text showing, and I have the ability to trigger a one-shot audio using the information and interactivity shown on the screen, which is pretty cool. So hopefully you find that maybe more usable than the previous one. There's more steps to it, but it's kind of set it and forget it in a way because I've built that script for you to use. So hopefully it makes some sense. Let me know if I can help. And I guess my final comment here is if you want to add in things like the animations,
Open. Slam.
for
Beep,
now,
beep, beep.
I'm going to let you explore how to set those animations up yourself. And if you're that advanced, you can take a peek at the scripts involved in those things and see how the triggered audio connects with the animations that are programmed in there. For now, I think that's more than enough for this video. Good luck. Hopefully at least one of those strategies works for you for one-shot audio. See you in the next one.